I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat. I'm sick. I started feeling it last night. So I'm not going to eat anything hot today, but I thought this would be a really good time for a little bit of clarification, because there were a few things that were taken out of context about my video that I made about the ongoing situation with Roger from the Hot Dang Show. So I just want to clarify it. First of all, I'm a Christian, and the basis of what I believe is all about forgiveness. Roger doesn't need to even ask me for forgiveness. That dude was forgiven the second he did it. I'm that guy. You know what it is? I'm way too selfish to carry a grudge. When you carry a grudge on somebody, like let's say that I harbor a grudge against, somebody trolling me or whatever. I'm going about my day mad as can be about that person. Does that hurt the person that's got a grudge? No, it only hurts me. I'm way too selfish to hold a grudge. I don't. So nobody needs to ask me for forgiveness. They got it. Always. I don't hold grudges. But in the video, I said I have his address. I don't have Roger's address. First, it would be very easy to get Roger's address. I don't care about that. But the person, the very, very bad person who called me a serial rapist and a pedophile, I have his address. Andrew, huh? I have his address, but I would never do anything with it. I am not that guy. I wouldn't post it. I'm not going to give it to anybody. That's just not who I am. It isn't. So some clarification. Am I happy with Roger? No. I think here's the thing. I've been thinking so much about Roger. I don't think Roger's an evil person at all. I'm just being honest. If this hurts, I apologize. I just don't think he's very smart. And the reason I'm making that assumption is he's got little voices in his ears that are absolutely dictating what he does and how he does it. That is a mark of somebody who is low IQ. So I'm not, I don't know how else to say it. I just don't think he's a very smart fellow. I've had people try to get me to sway me to do some things, and I'm not going to do that. And I'm not a child. I've lived a long life. And to me, one of the marks of somebody that is not the smartest of fellows is when they're very easily manipulated by others. So I think that's really at the heart of the problem with Roger. And I think Roger desperately wants fame, and get a little bit of it. You won't want it so much. But as far as a beef I don't have a beef against anybody. You know what? Before my dad, he said this to me always. He said this to Tommy and I so many times growing up. The best revenge is living well. I thought that was coyotes. The coyotes were crazy last night. The best revenge is living well. So for the people that don't like me, you're about to see some revenge coming your way from me like you aren't going to believe. You're going to see some things happening in my career that if you dislike me, you're going to hate me like you've never hated me before. The people that like me, I have a lot of really wonderful people who enjoy the content, and we have a good bond, and we have a special thing going. You guys it's going to be fun and happy. But the best revenge is living well, and I'm about to get a motherload of revenge on those people who don't like me. And it's not a contest, it's not a game, it's not like here's the funny thing, I don't wake up thinking about these fellas. They do. The former disgraced police officer who was fired for posting racist and Nazi things, that guy wakes up, and every single day of that guy's life he wakes up hating me. That guy's on my prayer list. I pray for him, because that has got to be the most miserable existence. But nobody's past redemption. Nobody's past redemption. So I pray for him. And for those on the channel that are believers, pray for him too. Pray for that dude. I'm not going to give you his full name. I won't ever do that. I won't ever dox him like he doxes me in every one of his videos. I won't do any of those things because I'm not that guy. But pray for Andrew, because he really, really needs it. He's probably deep down inside of every bad person, there's a good person. He's just got to work through some stuff. But to make things very, very clear, I don't have Roger's address. And if I did, you know what would happen? I'd go have lunch with Roger so we could talk about it. That's what would happen. But the address that I said I have is that scumbag who called me a serial rapist and a pedophile. Now, do you realize that if think of what would you do if you had an address, if somebody did that to you? What would you do with it? What would you do with that address, the name and the phone number? Would you post it somewhere? I'm not going to do any of those things. That guy's at the top of my prayer list. He is, because I want a better life for that guy. I can't imagine waking up to that. Like, there's lots of different kinds of prisons, and that guy carries his with him wherever he goes. That's what I think. So I'm cold and I don't feel good. So there's not going to be, I'm not going to do a Pepper video today. I got a very funny video for you guys tomorrow. But honestly, this was just a clarification video. I don't have an axe to grind. I'm living my life. I have more fun by accident than most people have on purpose. And what Roger hates is my success. Someone made a comment, I should have. They said he doesn't have the charisma to get it done, and you do, and that's killing him. I don't know what Roger's problem is. I can tell you this, Roger, if you watch this, because I know you are, comparison is the thief of joy. Stop comparing yourself to me, or anybody else for that matter. You're Roger. Be happy in that. Comparison is the thief of joy. Do you understand that? Stop comparing yourself to anybody else, and you'll find a lot more joy in your life. But I will tell you this. Let's say that you had 1,000 lifetimes to live. Life is still too precious to waste one of them acting the way you're acting. But we only get one. That's it, we get one. There's no time to hate anybody. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate that guy that called me a serial rapist. I don't. I pray for him. I do. And you know, I hope you guys do. If anybody, you know, listen, that's a guy who needs it. He's really in need of it, so he needs a touch from God. So if you're not a believer, throw some positive wishes that guy's way, or good vibrations, or whatever you do. Light a candle, I don't know, but that's a guy who just, I can't imagine waking up with that sort of torture in your head every day. And you know why that's a drag? I'm not stopping. My career is just getting started. I've got stuff on the horizon, not just this reality show and commercials for a fast food place, but I got stuff coming my way, and I didn't seek any of it out. It all just kind of got thrown in my lap. I've got some beautiful things. Focus on living your own life. Don't worry about what is happening in other people's lives. Worry about your own. So, to sum it up one more time, I've never threatened anybody. I would never threaten that guy that called me a serial rapist. You know what I'm going to threaten him with? A lot more success for me. There's your threat. I'm going to be so much more successful, and I know you hate that. But I'm not the guy that's going to, you know, I am not. 25 years ago, oh man, it would have been handled silently. But I'm not that guy anymore, at all. God's done a beautiful work in me. So, anyhow, just one more time. The address that I said I had certainly wasn't Roger's. I don't care about Roger's address. And that guy isn't even, you know, it's really funny. Everybody's got a radar screen. You got one, I got one. You know, that the guy that made the video calling me a serial rapist has got a radar screen, and I live on that radar screen. I live on Roger's radar screen. You know who lives on my radar screen? My radar? Nothing. Those guys can't. I'm telling you, if they set fire to the Statue of Liberty, that wouldn't make it to my radar. Nothing they can do can let those guys get on my radar, and that's how we all should live. So I have no, you know, all I wanted to do was point out truth that was being done, because it's very important to me that, you know, like Andrew is not a guy that walks amongst us. He's like a cowardly. He's like a cowardly little creature that hides under a rock and comes out in the dark when no one sees him. Roger is a different story. He walks among us. You go to a chili festival and he's going to be there. I want you to know who he is, because the person that made videos celebrating my dad's death and called me a serial rapist and a pedophile is Roger Trier's new hero. And you need to know that, because if he'll do that to me, and I've never said a bad word about Roger. I supported him. I helped him get his show started. If you go back and watch his first shows, it was Johnny this, Johnny that. Go watch. I'm not making up. They're still there. So if a guy that I've done a lot for can do that to me, he could do that to you. So if you're just walking around in a chili festival, or if you see him or you see a post, you just need to know who that guy is. He's on my prayer list too. I pray that he just does this and stop letting people get in his ear, because it's making him a fool. Anyway, I really do pray for those people. I really do. It's not, I don't spit words out for nothing. I don't care if people hate this video or not, but I don't feel like eating anything hot today because I don't feel good. So I'm going to turn this video off. I'm going to go back to bed, and maybe I'll feel better later. I just don't feel so good today. But I love you, and thank you for all the support and love from all of you. You're the greatest group of people on the face of the earth. And I tell you something, as far as online anything, you're the finest human beings that ever go online, anywhere. I'm talking to you. Thank you for that. All the normal stuff in the description box. I'm Johnny Scoville, and this was Chase the